Welcome to our channel. In this session, we will discuss import and export statements in React.js. What is the main purpose of this import and export statements? Suppose first I create one application. This application consists of different modules. Suppose component 1, component 2, component 3. Module in the sense one component. Now assume this application is app 1. Now I create another application. That application is app2. Here it consists of C1, C2, C4, C5. Now here observe carefully. In application 1, I return component 1, that is some set of code. Here C2 some set of code. Exactly the same set of code is written in C1. The same set of code is written in C2. That means the same code is repeated more than one time. That is more than one application. Instead of writing the same thing in more than one application, I created this one as a separate component, C1 and C2. If application 1 needs, use this one. If application 2 needs, use this one. Yes, that means by using React, we are creating reusable components by dividing the code. Now, in this scenario, where the import and exports are utilized, simply first I create one component. After creation of component, I am doing export operation, means my component is exported in the React project. Any application it can use the component one by importing in their application. You got it? By writing the export means that component is exported to the React project. By using the import statement, that component is imported into your project. For the two scenarios, you are using export and import. Now, in React, these export and imports are of two types: named export, default export. Similarly, named import and default import. So first, what is the named? Simply, we are exporting a specific component that is named. Instead of mentioning the name, we are exporting, that is default. How do you differentiate whether it is a named or default? The named or whether it is export or import, the named are placed in curly braces. Now we will move one by one: named export, named import, and then default export, default import. First, coming to named export. Here you can export multiple things from a single file. For example, my file consists of two things. Here you can export the things line by line, or you can export the things once at a time. So you can do in any way. Now, first I will move to some VS Code. Here already an application is created. You know that one? Under source, what I am doing? Create one component, header.js. That is, I created one file, JavaScript file is created. Within this one, what I am doing? Button, constant button. So write down some arrow function. A simple example. Here, just a simple example, no need to use the flower brackets also. Button, click button, click. I return one message, click, close. Similarly, constant, alert to button. I used two different names. Here, again, I will write down one button. The message I written as alert. Now, two things are written inside the header.js. Now, this is once it is created, it is not possible to use until you export. You can export in two different ways. Export each and every statement individually by using like this. Okay, once it is exported, anyone can utilize how? By using the import statement. Now write down import. How do you write import statement? If it is a named import, you are writing inside the flower bracket. What are the components that you want to import? Sir, I want button. So button. If you want alert to button also, yes, I want alert to button. Whatever the things you want, you can write all the things in flower bracket from header file. This is automatically loaded. Now create one functional component function app. So everything is written inside the return statement. This is the basic logic. Now, how many tags? Only one parent tag is there. Within the parent tag, you need to write multiple tags. Yes or no? So write down one container tag. What are the tags I used? One is button. Second one is alert to button. Now, okay, created. So app.js is another JavaScript file. Now understand what happened. First, I create header.js with two components, and this by using this export, these two button and alert to button are used by anyone. Now in app.js, I am importing this one, but now the program is executed. No, why? Index.js is the entry point for any React application. You know, this is the way index.js. In the index.js, I am writing import app means I am importing app component. Here I rendered, that means this app component is placed into the rendering into the web pages. If you are importing this app means you need to export app also. You got the point? So here default. So anyway, I will explain. Any component that needs to be used, it must and should be exported, whether it is a named or default. So compiled successfully. Go to the browser. Yes, two things are created. One is click and another one is alert. One is click, another one is alert. This is the named export and then named import. In the similar fashion, you have default export and default import. In your, sorry, before that, go to here. Instead of exporting line by line, you can export all the components at a time at the button, comma, alert to button. You can export all the components at a time by using save. And we have compiled successfully. See the output. There is no modification in the output. Right? Clear? Now move to default export and default import. Means you have only one. Instead of exporting named two components, two exports. But in default, only one default export is available. A simple example. See, I am changing this example to like this. Instead of this constant, sorry, instead of this export default, here what I need to write? Export default. Here I am writing header. Now you observe the point. Instead of writing each and everything separately, I am exporting the file name. Automatically, that file is exported. Automatically, that file is exported. Now, in the import also, you need to import which one? You need to import header from this file. Now save, now header. But here, if you understand, button and alert to button, these two are not at all available. Then how do you import? Simply, I am writing, changing this one as constant header. Think you got my point? That means in what situation you are using default? The situation is simply if you want to export only one component. In that situation, you are using this header. Now in app.js, I am importing header. Here also header. This is not available. Now save. Observe compiled successfully. So runtime errors. Button is not defined. I think somewhere button is available. Here button is not there. Header h1. Welcome. That's not a problem. In app.js function app. So the div tag consists of only this one. Okay. Save this one. Now go to. Okay, right. So welcome. Now you understand this is the default export and default import. Now finally if you want you can combine both the default and named exports and imports. See here you will create one JavaScript file. This is one header, one footer text, one file, one thing is created. Here within this one, I am calling export default footer. Now, this is exported. Internally, this one uses this one. Now, in the mixed import, I am importing these two. Now, anyway, I will explain with the thing with example. Now, under the source, create one JavaScript file. So footer.js. I created one JavaScript file. Here what I written? Export. That is, this is a named export. Constant. Some message I given, some footer text is equal to whatever the message you want, you can use h1 welcome to React. I written some message. So one named export. Fine. In the similar fashion, exactly, I am using footer is equal to. Now, what I am doing? Footer. Here I am calling that footer text and at last, what I am doing? I am exporting. What I am doing? I am exporting this footer. Export default footer. Now observe carefully. Here in my example, one named export is there, one default export is there. Once this is only exported, this calls this one, internally this calls this one footer.js. Now coming to app.js, remove all these things, import. What you want to import? One default import. What is the name of the default import? Footer. Yes. So footer comma, one named import. What is the name of the named import? Footer text. Named import name is footer text. Placed inside the flower bracket. Placed inside the flower bracket. Now, here you are within the div tag. Write down footer, footer text. So, two things are imported. I am exporting two things. Save. Now open the browser. See this one, welcome to React and welcome to React. Both are executed successfully. This is the way we are exporting and importing different components in React.js. Okay, clear? This is the end of today's session. Thank you.